I've been using Betfair's exchange for quite a while now, and although it can get incredibly frustrating at times, it remains by quite some distance easily the best betting site to bet on here in the UK. You'll get better odds than every other bookmaker out there, and you aren't going to get banned as soon as you start making money. But by no means is Betfair's exchange perfect, and a lot of my issues boil down to the poor user interface of the website and the mobile app. Over the years, I've managed to learn a few tricks here and there which have made my overall Betfair experience far more enjoyable. And in this video, I've highlighted the 4 most important hacks that I have learned, and I'm hoping that you can take something away to improve your Betfair experience. And starting with tip number 1, and that is maximising profit in a market where there is only 2 selections. If you place a bet in a market where there's only 2 possible selections, whether that be a tennis match, a limited overs cricket game, an overs/unders market in football, whatever it may be, essentially a back bet on one of the outcomes is equivalent to a lay bet on the other outcome. But importantly, this doesn't mean that the 2 bets are identical in terms of value, as sometimes a back or a lay bet on one of the 2 outcomes can generate more profit than the corresponding lay or back bet on the other outcome in the market. I'll pop up a couple of examples on the screen now showing this subtle difference, and it is a subtle difference. It's only a very small difference in terms of the amount of value you can get by choosing the right back or lay bet in the market. However, over hundreds, and ultimately, if you're doing this successfully for a long time, thousands of markets, these small bits of extra value that you're missing out on will add up over time and be quite damaging. It is a pretty straightforward process choosing whether you should place a back bet or a lay bet on the other outcome. All you need to do is select the desired outcome that you want to occur. Say for example, you think that a football game will finish with over 3.5 goals and you're willing to use up to a £100 stake. So all you need to do is select the back bet on over 3.5 goals, place in the £100 stake, don't actually place the bet, just enter it in and see the potential profit on offer for the bet. And this potential profit value, what you want to do is use that value and place it as a lay bet in the under 3.5 goal market. And the difference here between your £100 stake in the initial back bet and your potential liability in the second bet where you're laying, that is a difference in your value. Obviously you want to choose the one with the smallest possible stake because that's winning the same amount of money but with this reduced stake. Doing this in lower quality markets can often be more effective because a lot of the times the spread between the odds is much bigger, so it's more important to choose whether it's more appropriate to back or lay. But you can often find subtle differences in value even in these larger markets where the odds are much tighter together. On to tip number 2 now, and that is viewing your P&L, your profit and loss, which is older than 3 months old. The best way to view your P&L is through the handily named Exchange, Profit and Loss tab. I'm sure at one point or another you've all had a negative experience looking at your results on this page, but it is incredibly useful for tracking your results for the day or over the week, month and all the way up to the past 3 months. However, if you want to check how your strategy has been performing over a period longer than 3 months, you're going to have a problem because you aren't going to be able to do that from this page. Even if you manually enter a date range for longer than 3 months, Betfair won't show you your results. They will cap them at the past 3 months. So this is incredibly annoying, right? But it is possible to see your P&L all the way back to 6 months ago. If from the P&L page, we go to the drop-down menu from betting activity and select transaction history, and this ugly page pops up. In here, you can see your results all the way up to the last 6 months. This page is nowhere near as good as the normal P&L page that you normally go to check your results. For a start, it doesn't even show you your P&L. You have to manually calculate this out using these 2 numbers. Also, your bets aren't clearly listed in digestible pages like the traditional P&L screen. Instead, it's just one web page that seems to just go on forever and ever. Using this technique, although much messier than the normal way you would check how much money you have made, is the only way that I can find through Betfair's website where you can check how much money you have made over a period greater than 3 months ago. And a tip here is that you probably want to start tracking your results that are much greater than 3 or 6 months old. And to do this, you're gonna have to do it manually by downloading your P&L from the Betfair's website and then inputting this manually into a P&L tracker. You probably will be able to make a P&L spreadsheet which will track your results in the same way that I'm tracking my results right now. But if you are struggling to make one, you can always download the same one that I use to track my own results, which is available through my Patreon. On to tip number 3 now, and that is viewing your P&L through the mobile app. When you're out and about and want to check how your bets are doing, if you're running automation or you've just got a lot of bets on, you want to check your P&L, it can be incredibly difficult to check on the mobile app. Unfortunately, the P&L page, which is available through the desktop site, isn't available on the mobile app for reasons that only Betfair can know. At first glance, it seems like the only way to view your P&L through the mobile app is through the transaction history, which I mentioned in tip number 2. The transaction history page is accessible by pressing this icon here and then pressing transaction history. This is the same transaction history which I discussed in tip number 2, and it has all of the same flaws which I discussed when I was discussing that tip. Which, to be honest, for me, it makes it rather unacceptable to use this to be tracking my P&L throughout the day on my mobile. To be honest, Betfair really need to sort this out in future updates for the app. Thankfully, I have found a way to view the Betfair P&L, which you'd see on the desktop, on your mobile device. It's a little bit more complicated than it probably should be, in all honesty, but I'm going to show you step by step how to get the Betfair P&L screen from the desktop onto your mobile device. I'll be showing you on an iPhone because this is the phone that I use, but doing this also works on Android too. Firstly, you can't view it through the app. You have to view it through your internet browser. If you type in Betfair Exchange on Google and open it, it's probably going to redirect you to the app, which is incredibly annoying. What you need to do instead is when you're on the browser, you want to long press the link to open Betfair's Exchange, and a drop-down menu will appear. From this drop-down menu, you want to press Open in New Tab. Once a new tab is open, you want to come down here and press this button here, which is a small a and a big A, and another list of options will appear, and you want to select the one called Request Desktop Website. And like magic, your phone will display the Betfair desktop website. Unfortunately, it is incredibly zoomed in, which is annoying. There's no way of getting around this. But now your phone will function in the same way the desktop website does, so you simply need to log in and access the P&L page in the same way that you would do on a PC. As I mentioned earlier, this does work on Android too. I used to have an Android phone, so I was able to do it then. And if you're unsure on how to request desktop website on whichever browser you're using, on whichever phone you're using, simply Google it or YouTube it and someone out there will tell you how to request a desktop website. The process of opening this P&L page is a little bit clunky and takes a little bit of time getting used to, but after a few tries, it'll become second nature and you'll be able to do this incredibly quickly. And it'll be much, much more easy to read than the terrible transaction history which is available through the mobile app. Hopefully at some point Betfair will update the terrible app, but for now we are stuck with what we're stuck with. Tip number 4 is favoriting markets. This final tip is something that I only came across relatively recently, and it's made my Betfair experience so much more easier. It's actually sad that it's taken me so long to finally utilise this feature. I've always seen these little stars next to each and every market on Betfair, and up until recently I've just completely ignored them. When you press one of these little stars, that market will be stored in your My Markets tab. This can be found here on the desktop website, and to locate it on the mobile app, you want to go to Menu and select My Markets. The market that you've starred will remain in the My Markets tab until either A, the market settles as a winner or a loser, or even if you don't place a bet, it'll disappear, or B, if you actually manually remove the market from the My Markets tab by repressing the star. Why is this useful, you may ask? This saves so much more time than searching around constantly for the markets you want to look at on Betfair. I kid you not, every single time I wanted to check the Premier League winner odds, I used to go to the search bar, type in English Premier League, select English Premier League, scroll down to the bottom and click English Premier League again, and then finally it would be there showing me the winner odds. But now I can just go into the My Markets tab and now it's right there as one of the favorited markets. So that is a very useful feature. It's very useful for these long-term events like a league winner, and it's especially useful for things like politics, things that go on for many, many months and maybe years, so you don't have to continuously search for these markets. But it's also useful if you know that you're going to be trading, say, 10 markets over the next day or two, because what you can do is find all 10 markets that you want to trade, favourite them all, and then when it comes to trading them, you don't have to continuously keep searching the leagues and whatever they are in. You simply go to your My Markets and they're all there like this. It makes things so much easier to use rather than the way that I've been previously using Betfair's website, which was taking me so much time, which added up was costing me so much time. It was very, very annoying. I really hope that you've learned something from this video which you can apply to your own Betfair experience, maybe speed things up a little bit. And if there's any little tricks or hacks that you know from using Betfair, please leave them in the comments below. I'm always willing to learn, so as many of my viewers, so it'd be very nice to see what other tricks you've discovered along the way. Thank you to all the people supporting me through Patreon. I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to support me and find out about some of the perks that you get for doing so. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.